Homemade Christmas is a really enjoyable Christmas film. There was one aspect of it that I thought was completely unnecessary, and I was waiting for something to happen as a result of it, and it kind of never did. So I'll discuss what that bit is with a spoiler warning in a moment. But generally, I really liked this film. This was released in 2020. It's directed by Adrian Langley, written by John Dion, and stars Michelle Argyris. I apologize if I've mispronounced that, as Meghan, and Travis Nelson as Kurt. We also have Marcello de Fruscia as Mike and Tiara Johnny as Ashley. And Meghan kind of has a moment of mistaken identity. She goes to this little store, this toy store, to decorate their Christmas tree. But a woman with the same first name was also meant to be going there to turn the store around and change their marketing plans and give everything a boost. But this was the bit that was completely unnecessary. I'll be perfectly honest. It's not really a spoiler, but I won't say any more than that about it. But it just felt like they were trying to make it more than it was, and I was always waiting for something to happen with this. But it was so irrelevant. She could have just gone along, decorated the tree, and then somebody, one of the people in the store, could have said, "Okay, we need somebody to also do more with the store. Can you help?" And then the rest of the narrative would have continued as planned. So I feel like they tried a bit too hard and it fell a bit flat there, but that's the only complaint I have. Everything else is wonderful. She's actually dating somebody else, somebody not connected with the store, but there are sparks between her and the store owner. And I think that the chemistry there was really apparent and it was very well developed. It wasn't immediately obvious. I don't like it when Christmas rom-coms have this love at first sight. I prefer it when things are more gradual and even when things get off on the wrong foot. And then we get to see things gradually developing from there, and this is what we get. And I really enjoyed it. They didn't really utilize the homemade Christmas aspect as much as they could have done. There are obviously DIY things, but most of the DIY comes from the dialogue. They're praising small business owners, people who handcraft their toys. All of this is obviously brilliant, but I would have liked to have seen more. I think they could have done a lot more visually with handmade toys, handmade decorations. They definitely didn't do as much of that as they should have done, not even just as they could have done. But it didn't really affect my enjoyment of the film. But if you are looking for a film that encourages, well, homemade Christmases, then this one might be a little bit irritating because it didn't really give any DIY ideas. It didn't really encourage any specific arts and crafts or anything like that. So I feel like it was a bit of a letdown in that regard. But as I said, I wasn't personally looking for that. But I can certainly see that if that's why you're watching this film, it's not really going to meet that criteria, unfortunately. However, the characters are very likable. It's relatively festive. It most certainly is not the most Christmassy Christmas film, but it did have that warm, fuzzy feeling to it that I quite liked. So there are a lot of positive things about this. Having said that, I realize I'm not saying too many positive things about it beyond the characters were good and the chemistry was good, but it's just one of those films where I watched it and I was satisfied with the development of the narrative, the development of the characters, the on screen chemistry. I liked it. It's not the most festive. It doesn't really offer that much inspiration in terms of homemade Christmases. And I feel like the narrative at the beginning tried a little bit too hard to be more than it ended up being. And I realize all of these are pretty big negative things, but I can't deny the fact that I still enjoyed the film. So I think proceed with caution, take the negatives in mind, but as long as you don't expect anything perfect and you're just looking for an easy film to watch that's quite heartwarming in places, that certainly has some good dialogue about supporting small businesses and, handmade toys and things, but one that may not fully get you in the Christmas spirit, it's not too bad. Homemade Christmas is not perfect. On paper, it actually has a lot of room for improvement. But at the end of the day, it was an easy watch. It was enjoyable. I liked the characters. Nothing really bothered me personally too much. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but I don't mind recommending it.